Hello everyone, this is me. I'm up here in the corner. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to give you some information about marking punctuation. So you can kind of follow along as you watch this video. You can see me in the corner here. Hi. And I'm going to be working over here. I have a pen and I'll be able to write over here, and you can kind of see how I look at these marking punctuation ideas. Okay, so I want you to watch this video, and then you'll have an opportunity to practice what you learn and to turn that in. Okay, periods. Use a period to end a sentence. Also use a period after initials and after abbreviations and as a decimal point. So the end punctuation, you have periods, you have question marks, you have exclamation points. You always, at the end of a sentence, you have to have some sort of punctuation, some end mark, okay? And if you ever don't have it, it's not good. It causes run-on sentences. You need to end your thought with a period. Okay, so let's look over here. I think I can erase, oh yeah. There we go. Okay. So the first thing is, at the end of sentences, you need a period. Okay? Use a period at the end of a sentence that makes a statement or a request. Also use a period for a mild command, one that does not need an exclamation. Okay? So sometimes you might have a command or a wow, and you think, well, that's not a question, but it's an exclamation. This is if it's just a mild command, a statement, a request. Let's look at some examples I have here. The Southern Ocean surrounds Antarctica. It's just a statement, so you put a period at the end. Okay? Please point out the world's largest ocean on a map. Period. It's a request. And then this one, do not use a laser pointer. That is a mild command. The way I would change that to maybe be a exclamation would be, don't use the pointer, or don't use it. Then you get more of a not so much mild command, more of a direct. But this one, do not use a laser pointer. Okay, so that's just a period. Let's see what the note says here. It is not necessary to place a period after a statement that has parentheses around it if it is part of another sentence. Okay. But this case, this is a part of the sentence, so you do put a period at the end. The Southern Ocean is the fourth largest ocean, parentheses, it is larger than the Atlantic, end parentheses, and then your period, because it ends your thought. Okay? So that's at the end of a sentence. Now, let's see here. I think I can move this up. Yep. After initials. So place a period after an initial. So if you do J.K. Rowling, it's an author, J period K period Rowling. If I would do my name with my J period smoke, okay, or Colin L. Powell, colon L. Powell, you put a period when there's just an abbreviation. That's a middle initial, not an abbreviation, I mean initial. So Colin L. period Powell. All right, now let's go to the next one. After abbreviations. Now we're going to talk about abbreviations. So we have things like Mr., Mrs., Miss, Doctor, BCE, and we've been talking about that in social studies a little bit. CE. You have periods. Do not use periods with acronyms or initialisms. So like an acronym would be AIDS or NASA. It's not going to be N period A period S period A period. It's just NASA. and NBC, that's a TV network, you just say NBC or FBI. But when there are abbreviations like Mr., which is short for M-I-S-T-E-R, so instead of doing Mr., you do M-R, period, or Mrs., Miss, Doctor. Then you're going to use abbreviations. When an abbreviation is the last word in a sentence, use only one period at the end of the sentence. So, my grandfather's full name is William Ryan James Koenig, Jr. And Jr. is an abbreviation, so you put a period right here. It's also the end of the sentence, so you're not going to do period, period. This period can do two things. It can end the sentence, and it can be the period for the abbreviation. Okay? And then finally, well, on this page at least, you have as decimal points. So you're going to use a period to separate dollars and cents, and as a decimal point. The price of a loaf of bread was $1.54, so you use a decimal right there. The price was only 35 cents, or 73.3% less in 1972. So when you're using it as a decimal point, it's a point, and as in money, you use it to separate dollars and cents. Okay? All right. All right, so on that previous page, we did all end marks with periods. But we know that at end of a sentence, end of a thought, can have other end marks. It can have a question mark or an exclamation point. So let's talk about those two things. Question mark. A question mark is used after an interrogative sentence. Interrogative is just saying that you're asking a question. It's also used to show doubt about the correctness of a fact or figure. Okay? So, let's look at this first one here. At the end of a direct question. Okay. Use a question mark at the end of a direct question. So it says, is a vegan a person who eats only vegetables? So you put a question mark because you're asking a question. Now, here's an indirect question. No question mark is used after an indirect question. An indirect question tells about a question you or someone else asked. Because I do not eat meat, I'm often asked if I am a vegetarian. So someone's asking that question, but you're not, so you don't use a question mark, you use a period. I asked the doctor if going meatless is harmful to my health. Okay? It's not asked directly in this sentence, so it's not a question mark. So these are indirect questions. Only when it's a direct question like, is a vegan a person who eats only vegetables? That's a direct question you're asking the reader. Okay. And the last one, to show doubt. By the year 2020, question mark, the number of vegetarians in the United States may approach 15% of the population. So they put this question mark here because it's not happened, not sure if it's going to happen. Don't use this. I don't use this one too much. I doubt this comes up a lot. Mainly, you got to make sure when you're asking direct questions, you have a question mark, and when you're asking indirect questions, you do not. Okay. And then, if you don't have a period or you don't have a question mark, the other thing you could have is an exclamation point. An exclamation point may be placed after a word, a phrase, or a sentence to show emotion. That's the key. The exclamation point should not be overused. Sometimes I do this in emails. I just keep using it over and over and over. It's too much. We can't use too much. It's like someone shouting at you all the time. Yay, wow, oh my, blah, blah, blah. And you think, well, it's too much. So in your writing also, don't use exclamations too much. So, use an exclamation point to show excitement or strong feeling. Like if you were, yay, exclamation point. Wow, oh my, surprise, you've won the $1 million sweepstakes. Okay? Never, this is important. Sometimes I do this in emails, which is a little different than if I do it in formal writing. Never use more than one exclamation point in writing assignments. So if you're writing a essay or anything and you really want to emphasize something, just do one exclamation point. Don't ever do that to me again. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. This is not good. Not good. Okay? Here is what you do. Don't ever do that to me again, exclamation point. You've emphasized your point, you've given your emotion. You don't need to overstate it. Okay? So that is what you're going to do with, or that's periods, question marks, exclamation points. Now what I'd like you to do is you're going to go in your skills book, looks like this, okay, and you're going to go to page, I think it's page 2, nope, page 3. Page 3, it says end punctuation 1. You're going to practice end punctuation on page 3 and page 4. And then when you're done with that, put your name on it, rip it out, and turn it in. And then you're going to do end punctuation 2, which is page 5 and 6. And you will put your name on that, rip it out, turn it in. Okay? So go ahead and work on those pages and turn them in. If you are working on this, you can either talk to me, but if you want to rewatch some of this video, if you get to an area and say, what do I do at this point? You can rewatch this video, and it will help you to understand what you need to do. Okay?